We are live.
Hockey Nation fans, welcome back to the second edition of the Daily Show with the coach Franchise directly from the booth. And of course, we have to go all the way across the USA to find Michael David and know somewhere, somehow, and the West Coast, California. Welcome back, Michael, for another great show. And now it's all about the NHL.
It's lots of interesting storylines for Chicago today.
Yeah, we have back-to-back days where the bad news coming for them. Of course, you heard yesterday about the Kirby Dach is going to be out for 4 to 5 months with his surgery under his wrist. Cannot believe it. I'll be honest with you. When you look the body check or the contact with the opponent player during the World Junior Championship, I did not see anything bad or something like, oh my God, this is like he got smashed or it was just like hit to hit.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. Like, it was such a quick thing, and you could see immediately he grabbed the wrist.
But again, it wasn't like a bad
nothing. It was just like kind of awkward. It wasn't even that crazy.
Not at all. So some injury like this, I'm not sure it's an accumulation of something, or maybe his wrist was not perfectly great and he did not see anything. And then because from the impact, I did not see really where this turned around, but I see the picture. It was like not a great picture to watch or to see.
It was just a fluke.
Yeah,
I think he just had it kind of there and at the wrong moment, and it snapped. So, and I don't know if it snapped this way because the way it looked like it was like out of place this way. So maybe it's a fluke, And I didn't realize, like, I knew he played a lot in the playoffs for Chicago. He was averaging 19.24 per game.
Yeah,
in the playoffs. So he was. You could see he was starting to.
It was picking up. He was the top 6 players on that one over there with Patrick Kane, Tupenka, and Jonathan. But talking about the Chicago, they just heard this morning from Pierre Lebrun the loss of the captain for the training camp, also for the beginning of the season for illness. We don't know more. We don't know more about the injuries. We don't know what's going on, but they lost the captain for a couple of weeks for sure. I read and I did not see anything where they said you have maybe a broken something or something bad or
illness.
Yep. So
I wonder if it's just COVID. Why would they not disclose that though? If it was,
it could be. That's another thing you can mention. This, of course,
maybe right.
That makes sense when you think more about this, but we'll see what's happening.
And then Nylander too. Like, so Nylander's out with the knee injury.
So they have 3 players right now under, supposed to be me. I would said to you like the top 9, right? The top 6 for sure, and then Nylander was maybe at the bottom 6, but still. So really. Before the season starts, Chicago don't look good with also the situation with the goaltender and the defenseman. So it's going to be a really long season for the Chicago Blackhawks and, of course, for the manager, Stan Bowman over there. That team, it was maybe the best team in the last decade between 10 to 20. I'll be honest with you. They won the Stanley Cup 3 times, right? But again, that's a roller coaster, right? This league where you go up and then you have to go back down before you go return up.
There's a hard time getting back up.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting about that. There may be like another situation with them is about Brent Seabrook. You can put him on the long-term injury reserve. That's another situation there. So a lot of question mark for the Chicago Blackhawks, and we'll see what they're going to do for the next couple of weeks to figure out their situation. At the flip side, I would say to you, they open up spot and open up door for a couple of players, and that's organization for sure. And we'll see what they're going happening over there. So that's the first news of the day. We have many news going on around the league, and let's talk about what happening yesterday. First of all, the signature in NHL. Happening early this morning or late last night. It was the defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers, Ethan Bear, number 74, signed a contract of 2 years at $8 million, $4 million at $2 million per year.
I was going to say Holland lost his mind, but yeah, no, that's a good signing at that price.
Yeah, I
He's
agree with
playing
you.
top 4 minutes for them, right? And Clefbaum out, he'll be top 3.
He scored like 21.5 goals, 16 assists last year with 70 game. It was really his first full year as a defenseman for them.
Yeah.
He will take advantage, maybe the injury. Maybe I could be wrong, but I think he can maybe talk a little bit more. But send the injury of the Cliff Bloom for out of the season. I think that's the one in defense can step up for that organization.
So they signed Tyson Barrie, which I think probably takes away the minutes that Clefbaum would normally have and probably improves their power play. We know he's going to play with Darnell Nurse probably, which was a pretty effective pair. He needs a little bit of work, but he's legitimately shown he's a top 4 defenseman.
Yep, I agree with you. Really interesting about maybe. I think one of the year right now. I think that's the year he should be showing up at some point. It's Evan Bouchard.
Well, Evan Bouchard, I think, is ready right now. He's a big 6'3" defenseman. He's very patient with the puck. He plays physical. He can really shoot the puck. He's not an elegant skater, but he's not slow. And I think he's very difficult to play against. He's overplaying in Europe, and I think that was a great move for him. So he's not sitting around waiting for the AHL. His development, he was a star with the London Knights, and he got a cup of coffee with the Oilers and did not look out of place when he got to play like his 8 games. So I don't know. I think he's played great in the AHL. Like if you watch him, I think he's ready for the NHL.
And they still have Adam Larson over there, and then they have also the veteran Chris Russell, and then he just signed a couple of days ago. The kid from the Chicago, he's not a kid anymore. He's 26. Cuckoo.
Yep, and he's a very solid 5'6". Like he can skate, and he's a real good player.
So they have
and they have Broberg. And Broberg came up in the playoffs, and you're like, holy crud, this guy can play.
So they have 7-8 defensemen. They can hang in there for sure. With the taxi squad, they can keep all of them. And I think that would be something. I think at the end of the day, when you look about them, it's 2 things for me for Edmonton Oilers. The depth inside the 4-line, 3rd line, and then also the goaltender situation. I still believe they don't have enough strength there.
They need a goalie. Like, they need. I like Koskinen. I don't mind him, and he might be really effective in a 56-game situation. I think Mike Smith is a little bit erratic. We know he handles the puck real well, but he's old, man. The guy's 40-something, right? Like
41, yeah.
So it'd be nice to see them get a stud goalie at some point.
Yeah. Talking about all the signatures, this one was today, but yesterday we have a couples. And we talked about, at the beginning of the show yesterday about breaking news during the time we was live. It's like I got the notification from Montreal Canadiens signed the veteran, 35 years old, come from Dallas Star, but honestly, he passed his full career with Anaheim Ducks. It's a Corey Perry signed a 1-year contract at $750,000. You just add experience, just add more depth for the Montreal Canadiens. They already signed this weekend Michael Frolik a couple of days ago, the 32 years old, signed contract, with them too. So, at the end of the day, it's a good signature. It's good, be good. Montreal need more depth, and I think that would be great to see that because some point with a taxi squad, I don't think so. They have a lot of young players ready, like Poulin or Evans, maybe, but still not sure.
They're not.
So
this is indicating. I mean, we're buying into the Suzuki Kakanyemi story as being the upside. Cole Caulfield's on his way.
Yep.
They know Paling's not going to do anything.
No, I agree with you.
So they've got the Josh Anderson thing. I think they kind of took a risk and signed him for a lot of money, but he can score. He's a big guy and he can really skate. He had an off year because of injury, so you got to bank that he's going to come back from that. Toffoli, we know, can score, and then you've already got Gallagher there. You've got depth. Like Tatar's back, so they're saying, look, let's take a crack at it this year.
Look, they have the 2 names you didn't mention right now. You mentioned already 6 players, and you don't talk about Jonathan Drouin and also about Joel Armia.
Well, I think Drouin's on his way out at some point. I don't see him the way he plays with those other guys, the way they play and the way he plays. He's very individualistic, and I see his
But
star.
my point to you is right now you talking about line number 3 when you have Jonathan Drouin, Joel Armia
Right,
over there with Kokanimi, and
right.
then we do not talk again about right now Frolic, Biron,
Yep.
Littonen,
They got lots of
and
depth on the bottom six.
Perry and Jack Evans over there.
Yep, I agree. They have lots of depth on the bottom 6.
Yep. So I think that was a good move for them, and that's really good. On the second player signed yesterday is only ELC. It's their 13th overall pick for the Carolina Hurricanes. Is the Zeph Jarvis. Play in a WHL with the Portland with the Hawks. He scored over 42 goals, I think, in
He's a leading scorer in the league.
50th game or something like that.
Yeah.
And they have over 96 points with them last year under the ex-NHL head coach Mike Johnson. He's a 13th overall pick.
He's a good player, man. That kid, like, if you look at their draft, they draft Jarvis and they draft Gunler.
Yeah.
Like, Carolina's got so much depth of prospects. Like, they've done a really good job. Seth Jarvis will be in the NHL at some point. You think about how deep Canada is, that he's not on that roster.
That surprised me.
But it just shows you how deep they are. Like, he was the leading scorer in our league in the WHL. And he's a dynamic offensive player. So I don't know. He's going to be...
Is it because they took like older player like Ryan Suzuki in front of him? Just because not only the age, but is a factor when you get those.
Oh, no, I think they took the best players, and I just think there's difference between the 40, like there's 26 players or 25 players on that roster. The difference between the 25th player and the 35th player in Canada is very small. Like Gage Gonsalves from our team, like he had a really good camp. He could have played on that team just as much as anyone.
So my question to you, is this something like factor of the age play a role during the time they cut the last?
I mean, they put Byfield on, so I doubt it, but
well, I think they put Byfield because of reputation there.
So what happens is this is the other problem with Team Canada, and maybe it's not a problem. They want equal representation from every province. So it's like, oh, we've hit our WHL quota. Now we got to hit our Ontario quota.
That's a good thing there. You know what I mean? Like, did he mention this? No, but this they have to pay attention. Yes, I agree with you about that one. It's like a little bit like they would say to you, they have to get maybe 1 or 2 French Canadian players, something like that. They have this.
They always do. Yeah, they're always going to have representation from each of the leagues.
Yeah. But again, at the day, I think
you're not really
good player. I think Jarvis is a really solid player. I think it would be interesting to see him. Of course, he need 1 more year, but that would be interesting.
Look at Tomasino, right?
What?
Look at Philip Tomasino.
Yeah.
So how good is that guy? And he was their 13th forward, and now he's like, one of their leading scorers.
Of course. And then finally, we have to go with the one player you can maybe talk a little bit more because you know him. He came from the Detroit Red Wings. I think he was a 110 overall pick in 2015, I believe, or 2012. It's Andres Attensio, 26 years old, signing a 1-year contract at $1.2 million with the Los Angeles Kings. He's played 55 games last season. I think he have only 11 goals.
He's a mess. I don't know. He's so talented. He's like one of the most talented players in the NHL. Without the puck, he is really, really horrible. And
so what Michael tried to tell you, fans, is not because he's terrible. He just have minus 46 in 55 games.
But if you watch him, it's evident why. Like in Detroit, it was like, oh, this guy got 30 goals on. Okay, but without the puck, like literally he's creating so many opportunities for the other team. Like he'll try to, it looks like he's trying to hit people and they just go by him. You're like, what? I don't get it. He never wins puck battles. On his side of the ice, it's like you're playing shorthanded when you're in the defensive zone. And it's extreme. Like it's not even a question like, will this guy or can this guy? You think he's trying?
Yeah.
You don't, like, I can't figure it out. And you saw it really badly when he went to Edmonton because they were like, oh, we got a good deal. They gave up like a draft pick, and Ken Holland knew him. And then he gets to Edmonton. You're like, wow, we can't even play this guy a regular shift. Like, it was really bad.
It was really, like yesterday we talked about the general manager make mistake, right? Like we thought, I think it was about Pierre Dorion, and then we went to David Puel and then George McPhee. But Ken Holland have a great reputation as a manager.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, whatever you are, Mike Bergevin, we can go with Mike Belbury, we can go Don Sweeney, we can go many. All right, you go to make mistakes sometime, and I think that's maybe one of the biggest mistake of Ken Holland with that trade.
Well, because he gave up
second round pick,
and he got Mike Green and Attensio, and Green was basically done.
Yep.
He's retired now because of injuries. Attensio was a detriment more than anything. Like, it was kind of painful to watch. If you give the guy a puck, he's really good. Like, you get it on his stick and he can do stuff and he can shoot the puck, but he's at the other side, it's really bad. So I hope that what happens is he goes to LA, and they're very structured in the way they traditionally have taught defense. They're trying to make a shift to being a skilled organization, and it's going to be a little painful, like, because their assessment of skill is a little off, and how they deal with that's going to be interesting. What I hope for him is that he picks up the defensive side that they're so good at, which is the north-south game, tighten the corner, and how to pin guys down and how to be effective when you have pressure. And if he can do that and be effective on his wing in the defensive zone, because he kind of did that with Martin Frk, right? Frk went to the AHL. He got that part of the game a little bit together where he wasn't such a detriment. And then you see he goes to the NHL, he can really shoot the puck. Like, he's got one of the best shots in the NHL. So maybe they can reclaim him. But it's going to be up to Andreas.
I'm not sure between you and me is the right fit team to rebuild a defensive side.
No. Oh, LA?
Yeah.
Well, they got Mata. I mean, I think the way that they traditionally play versus how they play now, you can see they've changed the style under McClellan.
No, but I'm talking about the structure of the team right now, the young team they have, and like they don't have a great.
He's a veteran
right now. I don't think so for him. He'll be the same way. I don't think so. Nothing will change for him. So we'll see what's happening.
You're probably right.
Talking about all the. I'm going to bring you a little bit more around the league, like not breaking news, but more news around from Philman or LeBron or Brian Burke, everybody. But talking about Florida Panthers, where I live here, they announced today their season ticket holder have been told them they were going to allow 25% capacity at the start of the season. It's about under $5,000 fans per game. So they just joined the Dallas Star, did the same thing last week to their fans. So they are the two first organization open up the door for the fans over there. You know what? Congrats. You know what? Good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to be politically here. I don't want to mention anything like that, but we are one state here open up for everything compared to California, and we are less case and we're less to compare to California. They are all shut down. And again, I don't want to start anything here, but just give you an idea.
It's valid. You should allow fans in, limit the capacity. Everyone's adhering to masks and social distancing. They're going to take tons of precautions. And, what's funny is it's probably exactly the same number of fans as they normally get.
Not really, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, someone told me yesterday about, but, we're part of the group, and one said, like, that's exactly what you said. And then one said, we heard that joke earlier before that. And that's fun. You know what I mean? So, but one day I'll be honest with you, it's better to have 5 big fans about one team and that 5,000 other fans where they don't care about the team. So that's maybe what they have. Begin at the end of the day, it's Florida. So it is what it is. Let's move on with another players. Like, I didn't know that
announcement by Florida.
I'm saying again.
Florida's really aggressive about hiring people.
Yeah, of course they are.
There's so many people. It's what I think we've missed the boat here, Pierre. They've hired everybody in the NHL that
should apply for sure.
We've never heard of before.
I want to mention to you, like I did not know that until I read this, is the San Jose Sharks Patrick Marleau is 45 game away from the breaking Gordy R NHL all-time game play.
Well, and he's about like 100 fights away from breaking.
No, but it's impressive. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to give
He's
credit.
played forever.
You know?
For sure. I think it's, it's like mentioning him in the same breath as Gordie Howe is probably not fair. But
yeah, exactly.
You know who's got more games than Pierre? Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
I still think Bobby Orr is a way more impactful legendary player. Yeah, but congratulations to him. He's had a long career and he's played well and he's a real gentleman.
Definitely. Two waiver put on the waiver yesterday. Maybe not big name, but again, we have to mention Toronto Maple Leafs sent a Kali Kozila and the Buffalo Sabres Jean-Sébastien Dach on the waiver list yesterday. There was the last day, I believe, on the rules in NHL to put the players over there. Larry Brooks talk about why is it legal under CBA to sign player to PDO accompanied by an ascending contract. They will be filled when the cap space is available. That's what you asked me yesterday when I mentioned to you. I said, Pierre LeBrun mentioned he's already have almost like a contract agreement with the St. Louis Blues, and you came back to me said, no, it's impossible. We said it's not right, or what? You said something about that.
Well, it was like, why don't they just sign him now? Because teams have signed players and been over the cap briefly, right? But maybe they can't do that under the CBA. So, I don't see anything wrong if that's the case, where they're just signing him until they put someone on long-term IR. I don't know why they can't put Tarasenko on long-term IR now, because that would probably take up, $7 million or something, right?
But you get $13 million with Tarasenko and Alexander Steen.
And then Steen, right. So they're just waiting for that. It sounds like it's like what you said, which I don't know why people just like to make a big deal about it. It's like, well, that's fine. If he's willing to go on PTO, that's his right. That still gives him the option if someone comes along and says, hey, I want to sign you, Mike Hoffman.
But when you have a contract like this, PDO, you cannot have a contract from another team to Mike Hoffman.
That's not true.
You have to be released for the team.
No, he can negotiate with any team he wants.
Whatever you have a contract and agreement with St. Louis to go to the training camp?
Yep. The PTO, all it lets him do is participate in training camp without having a contract, and it doesn't restrict his ability to negotiate with any other team. So I don't see what the big deal is.
But at some point, for the St. Louis Blues, to get Hoffman, he become the best scorer.
Well, sure, if that's what he wants to do. But Tampa could still come along and give him more money or someone else, right?
So we'll see everything about that one over there. The fact behind this, Michael, is this part is when you see a PDO, usually you see this for the marginal or players they are maybe at the end, or they try to come back, regain a career, come back in the league and play. That's what the PDO usually are. So if you see a UFA number one right now, the top 5 UFA, and get that kind of the situation is just
that's why we kind of were like, what the hell is going on?
Is all other people, absolutely right about
but
that.
I think if we think about it logically, okay, if you wanted Hoffman so bad, why didn't you offer him a big contract?
Yeah. So now they mention also maybe an extension contract at some point also. So we'll see what could happen over there. Talking about this, you have a report from Russia newspaper where Tarasenko was upset he was not named the captain of the team. But is
that why he's injured?
No, did not get the captain of the team. Did not mention he did not become the captain of the team.
Well, you can only have one, and we know, isn't he going to miss time again, or is he back? So, and I don't think it was a surprise that Ryan O'Reilly was the captain.
I would never mention Tarasenko as a captain.
I don't know him, I think it's an obvious choice that you would go to O'Reilly, but that's biased because I know him. So,
yeah. Anyway, Philadelphia Flyers forward Michael Vorobiev is out for the long term with an ACL injury according from his agent Dan Milstein. I know he's not a big player, but he play, so he's going to be out for the season. Talking about the Tampa Bay Lightnings, Anders Nilsson, the reasons he's going to be on the LTIR is because he have a concussion symptoms since last season.
Too bad.
It's going to be about that one there, and the next two is about Chicago. We talk about them. That's make all the rumor about around the NHL this today. I do not see anything else who would affect Jonathan Toews. Of course, the Florida Panthers gave 2 PDO. We talk about this Scott Darlin, also Kevin Connington.
Connaughton. Yeah, Connaughton's pretty decent.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
was he in Columbus?
Yeah, talking about the breaking news, what I just heard like a couple of minutes ago. Gary Sparks loaned to the Flames by the ECHL Orlando for the PDO. So Sparks going to try there. And then we just heard like a few minutes ago, I'll be honest with you, it's like less of 45 minutes. The Buffalo Sabres had Sheahan on a PDO. Ryan Sheahan, got a PDO for the Buffalo Sabres. The 29 years old, born and from Nerby, St. Catherine, Ontario. Pretty, he's not like a great, but he still can play in NHL.
Oh, yeah.
Edmonton Oilers, I believe.
Detroit Red Wings drafted him. He played in Pittsburgh. He's like a fourth line center now. He's not going to give you a lot of offense, but he's really good on faceoffs, and he's a good penalty killer.
He was a 21 overall selection in 2010 by the Detroit Red Wings out of the Notre Dame. And say it's something maybe not mentioned is, but he have 513 games, Michael, in NHL. He have 164 points. So, talk about that sharp players, the super player, the guy can hang in there, they can play in NHL. That's the one maybe is the one of them.
Yeah, he's pretty reliable. Like he's a smart player, big body. I remember him when he played, like he was from St. Catharines and he played for St. Catharines on the Tier 2, and he was a pretty damn good player there before he went to Notre Dame. And I think in Notre Dame, he became a very good two-way player. And he's carried that through as an NHL career, really, because he's not going to give you a lot of offense, but he's reliable. You don't have to worry about him.
I agree with you. And then the last one is look like Derek Steffen is really happy to go to play for Ottawa Senator. He believes his offensive side is going to come back. He have possibly scored 20 goals, and with the new team.
He's a veteran guy. He's had a history of being able to get 15 goals and 35 assists. If he can do that there, then he'll be very good.
Yeah. I don't know if you know him, like, KC Nelson?
Is that the guy that was in Buffalo?
Yeah. So he just out for the season 2020 and 2021. Honestly, he was play a lot for the American Hockey League for the Rochester Americans. So not going to return play hockey for the upcoming season. And finally, we didn't mention him. And that's the last one of the day. It's the veteran, 11 year in the NHL, decided to retire yesterday as a hockey professional players. Played for Winnipeg Jets last year, only 7 games, but I think he was more recognized as a hockey player with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Play over, I think, 300 game with them. But I'm talking about the veteran Mark Ledestu.
Yeah, Mark's a good, solid guy. I've been part of a group that's been, it's like hockey players that are transitioning into regular life or career, and Mark's been joining those, so that's been really good to see, along with Grant Clipsome, and some other guys that are in that area. He had some sort of a issue with his heart, and he's a solid guy. So I wish him the best in his transition to regular pedestrian life.
He played like 567 games in NHL. He have 93 goals, 177 assists for a total at 210, minus 49 in a game average of 14 minutes 27. Never be drafted. Do you know that?
Yeah, it's crazy how long he played.
12 years over there. And then just then finally the last thing is the he passed 1 year, I think, or maybe 2 with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say the Penguins are the guys that signed him the first time, and he had a pretty decent offensive production the 1 year.
Yep.
And he was pretty consistent. Like, he was a pretty good player in Edmonton. He was a pretty good player in Columbus. Like, if you have him on your third line, you're pretty happy.
Exactly. So that's make at least you have anything else, but we just did the all around the news for the last update in the NHL for the last couple of days, and you can see have more activities will go around the league now since the we are about like a couple of days before the training camp start, Michael.
Yeah.
So at some point when we have to jump on the power ranking and develop, maybe talking about each division when we get less news the morning and talking more about the age division, see what the power ranking we can get, what's your expectation, everything like that. So another great show with our NHL. Just invite all the Hockey Nation fans. Don't forget, every day we come right now, a special edition about the WJC for 30 minutes, talking about the resume of the day prior and also the day of the day. And then finally, we talk another show with the NHL around the league. So thanks again for watching us. Mike, we wish you an amazing, great Tuesday. Look forward to see you, everybody, tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Have an amazing, great Tuesday.
Thanks, Pierre.